Welcome to Diaspora Scholars TV. We are interviewing Dr. Eric Koome Morianki. He's studying a master's in music therapy at the University of Kansas.
Yes.
What city is that university right now? I know you already have a PhD in music, but you're now doing a music therapy master's degree.
Yes.
So which city is it?
University of Kansas is in a city called Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lawrence, Kansas.
Kansas City. So
Yeah.
definitely it's different. Give us, some of the differences between Kansas City where you are and, Lawrence
Yes.
in Kansas
Yes.
and compared to Gainesville. That was a big change, right?
It was a huge change.
Uh-huh.
And basically, the most the difference that you really feel immediately is the weather.
Mm.
Florida is warm. Yeah,
Warm. You're
Gainesville
pretty
is
much
really warm,
like Africa,
nice,
like
yes.
Kenya.
Yeah, a little warmer than that.
A little warmer.
Yes, and a lot of humidity.
Mm.
But depending on what season it is, winter in Florida is not as tough.
It's not as bad as in Kansas for
sure. So in Kansas, during winters are really cold. Really cold. The temperatures this past winter dropped to negative 23 degrees Celsius.
Wow, degrees Celsius.
Yeah, degrees Celsius, yeah. It was really cold. So for me, it was very tough trying to adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of really tough. Well, other than that, we have a community, a Kenyan community.
There is a Kenyan community in Kansas City?
There is not very many people. In University of Florida, it was even a bigger community of Kenyans over there. So there is that difference.
So what can you advise somebody watching from Africa about joining school at the University of Florida or joining school at the University of Kansas? What should they do? What should not they do? Because many people on this show get interested, by finding out from guests. So tell them a little bit more about how to get to those schools and what are some of the things they need to consider while applying to school, particularly graduate school.
See, the blessing that we have right now is of technology. It is so advanced that whatever you need, you probably will get at the palm of your hand. So what they should do is probably, apart from their passion, the passion that they have for whatever field they're in, is go ahead and put the work of trying to see where to go. Like, search and search for what you want.
On the internet?
There are a lot of opportunities out here, a lot of scholarships.
You mean in the U.S.?
Yeah, in the U.S. Even in those universities that I've just mentioned, every beginning of, towards the end of fall, they usually kind of open applications for students to apply. So if your background is really good, you're established, you have your papers, your academic background is okay, I find it easier to have a scholarship, either for master's or a PhD. Undergraduate is not that common, although I've seen a few undergraduate students. But the first thing is to just make sure that you send out as many applications as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because in all those many applications,
one will be positive.
One will come out positive.
Probably even more than one.
It might be a little costly to apply for them, but if you are specific and target specific universities, one will just come.
One will come for sure. How much does it cost to apply to a school, on average in dollars?
It depends. Some of them are as low as $30. Others are as high as $200, depending on the university.
And some even waive the application fee.
Some of them waive the application fee.
Yeah.
So you just need to apply and then shoot an email to
and ask for the waiver sometimes.
See if they can waive. Sometimes they don't, but other times they usually do. Yeah. It also depends on the field that you're in.
Depends on the field that you're in.
Yes.
Let's backtrack a little bit. What really inspired you to get into music? Because I'm thinking of an average, for purposes of this show, for those who are in Kenya,
Yes.
an average Meru boy, there's a problem. There's a problem of the girl child, globally.
Yes.
But there's a problem of the boy child, particularly in parts of central, province, formerly central province, Kenya, and parts of eastern province, in Kenya, of the boy child getting into, business. So specifically what they call Miraa business or the cat business. Now we do have the Mogoka business. How did you manage to, defy the norm, so to speak, which is not necessarily the norm, and pursue academics, and particularly in music? What is that thing that sparked you to say, like, this is the way to go?
That's a very loaded question. I don't know where to begin. But yeah, let me start from the beginning. I was not born in a musical family at all.
Wow.
No one in my family, I would say, was musical. But when I was a young boy, I went to church one day, and there is this guy that brought a guitar. He was famous. His name is Morioki. So Morioki, we called him Morioki on guitar, which means Morioki of guitar. That is the literal translation of that. So he used to teach people, if you're interested and a church would just call the youth to come and learn how to play guitar. It wasn't that intense, but you learn a few chords.
But at least there was somebody with some instrument of some sort, that kind of, made you interested.
Yes. So I was very young. My fingers were a little small, and I wasn't even qualified to join that team that was getting taught. So they would place a guitar somewhere, and then I would sneak out and then go strum the guitar, and then feel so nice and accomplished and run away, and all that. So when I grew, like 1 or 2 years later, he offered to teach me a few chords.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it is the same church. I used to be a very active Sunday school goer. And then
maybe because of the chance to play the guitar.
Yes, it was very amusing, like to get sound of that out of that instrument. And then the church bought a keyboard, so I also kind of would go and press a little notes, make some few sounds, and then run away. Then a few months, I really learned very fast, and it was self-taught. Yeah. So after that, that is where my musical interest came from. So
which village did you grow up in?
My village. My village mates.
Talk to them.
It is. It's called Kirimagea Tonga. Kirimagea Tonga is a old
Kirimagea Tonga. It's like a small mountain for Getonga.
Yes, you got it right. Kirimagea Tonga. The church was in Karani, a few kilometers from Kirimagea Tonga. Yeah, that is where I grew up. I went to Roibi Primary School. Roibi Primary School was like 7-8 kilometers from.
It was a day school. Yeah, you could walk those 8 kilometers every day.
You walk 8 kilometers in the morning, and it's
8 kilometers in the evening.
45 minutes, 1 hour, you're there.
Wow.
And 8 kilometers in the evening, you ran back home, and it didn't feel like there was walking, because we would play on the road using this.
They say you burn your calories along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. A lot of people. I mean, you're many children, and you just make noise until you get.
And that's what everybody is doing, really. So
yes. So I used
no school buses, nothing. Yeah, no shoes, baby.
No. Sometimes I would just leave my shoes intentionally and walk barefoot to school, because especially when it rained, there is this thing the boys we called it siriba sende. People know sende. You go sliding on that mud and you feel so nice. And so sometimes when it rained a little bit, I would hide my shoes so that I walk barefoot. Yeah, it was enjoyable. The only problem is that the roads, I mean, you get little accidents here and there. Sometimes the eucalyptus seeds, that morning, they're kind of painful to step on.
They can get into your eyes.
Yeah. So you tiptoe on those roads, those parts that have those seeds that are.
To make sure you don't step on them.
Yeah. But when you get to school, I mean, and then when you get late, you kneel down and you just get strokes on those.
Did you ever think
stools.
at that time, look at you now, you are talking about writing book chapters, you are talking about, getting deeper into music therapy. I mean, it's quite remarkable. I mean,
It
it's quite
is.
an achievement, right?
It is. I think it is. When I look back, sometimes I don't believe. But yeah, it is life.
Apart from that old man who taught you the guitar that time, who are some of the personalities you want to thank? I know you mentioned Mr. Who in Kobo Boys.
Materi.
Mr. Materi,
Yes.
Kobo Boys,
Yes.
shout out to Mr. Materi of Kobo Boys and all
Respect. Yes.
Kobo Boys alumni. This
Yes.
is Dr. Eric Koome. Reach out to him if you want to come to the US to study music or indeed any other area. He can be able to guide you through some of those, applications and also be able to help you find a school here. But at the same time, Eric, speak to those, boys in Kobo. Speak to also those other boys from that village, Kiribagage, Tonga.
I'm surprised you remember that name.
Yeah, I will always remember because I have to listen to what my guests are saying. Speak to them
Tonga.
and inspire them because, they can do both. They can as well be engaged in, cart or mirror business, but also go to school, right? Talk to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how I'm able to say this, but there is a reward that comes with consistency and not giving up on yourself. I have had life incidents that I thought of giving up in this life.
For example?
For example, when I told you I went to Roibi Primary School. So I was I think I was position 2 in class 8 when we were finishing. But I was told that I cannot go to university, not university, to high school, because then my parents then were not.
Who told you cannot go to the university?
Circumstances.
Oh, wow.
Like,
They were speaking to you.
School, circumstances were speaking to me. This is the end of you, because there's no school fees for high school. Like, there's nothing we can do about it,
You're not going to make it.
Then, yeah. And
there's
then,
no tuition fees for you.
There's no tuition fees for high school. And then what I did is, instead of giving up, I kind of went back to school again. I think I like going to school, back to school.
How many siblings were you?
My family is huge. My family
There you
is
go.
huge. We're like,
by huge, you mean how many?
By huge, I mean like 9 people.
Mm-hmm.
9.
I know some. I've interviewed some people on this show, and they told me, "Don't even ask because it's even taboo to ask how many."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And are you the firstborn? The last? Where somewhere there in the middle?
It is complicated.
It is complicated.
It is complicated. Yes.
I can now see some of the circumstances you are talking about.
It is very complicated.
Yeah.
But I have one brother that is behind me. So I'd say I was like second last born. Yes. So
that meant even the resources have already been spent. Pretty much.
You can imagine finished. What I don't know what we can do, but I managed to repeat class 8. Not that I did not pass to go to high school. I did really well. I was position 2 out of I don't know how many kids in that Roibi Primary School.
I mean, you were just trying to be in school because there was no money to.
Because there was I don't know, maybe someone then
to pay for high school.
The reason why I went back to school is so that I can get a scholarship to Starehe Boys.
Oh,
because then
really?
Starehe Boys was everyone.
That was your dream high school.
My dream was I'm getting back to school. I'm scoring 410 plus. I'm getting a scholarship for Starehe Boys where I don't have to pay any school fees and all that. Then that is why I went back to school, and I worked like crazy.
You worked like crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Finally, you admit you are crazy.
I mean,
I know what you mean.
Yes.
It meant that this is it. It's a matter of life and death, like literally, because there are no resources back home. Yes. You are seeing the end in mind. You are seeing yourself becoming a music therapist at some point, a music educator.
I didn't even know that I wanted. See, that was in primary school.